I went to Hawaii once, and my parents, of course, got caught in the tourist traps. We found ourselves at a luau, and I wasn't really into it, and so I sort of wandered away, and I went up some roads and down some roads and left and right, and I found myself in the middle of this subdivision, these two-car garage, kind of middle-class homes with green lawns and a little plastic slide or a tricycle in front. And it kind of looked like anywhere USA. And I thought to myself, is this Hawaii? This is certainly not the image that I had of Hawaii. Of course, the luau wasn't really my image of Hawaii either. And I couldn't help but wonder about the people that lived in these houses and, what their lives were like and what did they do every day. And I kind of forgot about that until some years later. I was in a college class, and there was this Hawaiian girl who was giving a presentation, and she was talking about the sugar plantations in Hawaii and the colonization. And I had this flash back to this memory, and I thought to myself, I wonder if she lived on that street. Maybe she lived in one of those houses. We were about the same age. And of course, after the presentation, I didn't talk to her. I really wanted to, but I felt weird being this shy white guy, like going chatting up this Hawaiian girl who, just got done talking about the white colonization of her homeland. And some years later, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I was reading comics because there was nothing else to do. And I actually found the answer, or part of the answer to my question, in a little book called No One Else by Kikuo Johnson. Let's start with the cover. No One Else by Kikuo Johnson. One thing I want to say about this cover and the back, I'll show the back there. Don't judge a book by its cover. And also, don't judge a comic by its art style. Because this comic does have that kind of, kind of hipster, mid-2000s art style. Kind of flat and just very cold. But I think that that's completely on purpose. Very simple lines, sparse detail, but the faces are pretty expressive actually. Overall, monochrome, not many shadows. Sometimes there's shadows. It makes sense that he would draw in a style like this because he's actually done several covers for the New Yorker magazine and other magazines. But anyway, I just want to say this art kind of surprised me when I got this. I looked at it and I thought, oh no, this is going to be one of those kind of comics. But actually, the story really comes through in such a beautiful and painful way. And the art style, I got used to it. And at first I thought it was kind of weird that pretty much, as you can see on the cover, everything is sort of blues and grays, and there's an occasional splash of orange. On the back there, Brandon's t-shirt is also orange. The end papers are bright orange. And opening it up here, you can see one of the smokestacks of the sugar plantation. You can see on the end papers here, all of the sugar cane has been cut down. And here's a little bio of Kikuo Johnson. And the end paper actually folds out, and you can see the more smokestacks here. This is a sugarcane mill. The Pu'unene mill was built on Maui's Central Plain in 1901. At that time, it was the largest sugar mill in Hawaii, and a symbol of the dominant role sugarcane played in shaping the island's economy, landscape, and culture. The 1960s saw tourism outpace sugar as the state's #1 industry, and by 2000, Pu'unene Mill was Hawaii's last operating sugar mill. 180 years of commercial sugar production in the islands came to an end when Pu'unene Mill processed its final harvest in 2016. And this is published by Fantagraphics, by the way. Love me some Fantagraphics. So let me show the very beginning of this. When you open up the very first page, there's no title, no credits. It just begins. You can see an open door to the bathroom, and Charlene is there, scrubbing her father's foot. Okay, other foot. Dad, your foot. Up, up. Yikes, we'll do those toenails next. And then the time there, 7 after 9. Sorry. Again? Next time disciplinary measures will be taken. It won't happen again, sir. I should have my car back tomorrow, so I won't be relying on anyone else to get me here on time. And she, of course, gives her the side eye there. Ugh, I hate his guts. Hey, if my car's not ready tonight, can I hitch a ride tomorrow? Sure. Thanks, Charlene. It means a lot. Don't mention it. She's getting the groceries out of the car there. Setting up the bathroom. Ready? And then the title page. No one else. This opening sequence is essentially Charlene's loop of her everyday existence. She's a single mother, and so she's taking care of both her father and her son, Brandon. I didn't really think much about this opening sequence when I first read it, but after you finish the book, especially if you read it a second time, a third time, there's a lot of things kind of below the surface here that really will affect you much more deeply on subsequent readings. And I actually really enjoyed how he set this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the first maybe 30 pages and just give you kind of an overview of it and talk about some of the characters, talk about some of the graphical elements and storytelling elements that I enjoyed. And that way you can kind of get a sense of what is this comic. All right. You can see the cheesy poof there. So this is Brandon and his cat Batman, and they are watching something. Here comes his grandfather, very shakily making his way across the room. We find out that he's watching The Lion King. And I love this. And then, Mom, yes? Grandpa wants to go to the bathroom, but he can't open the door. Open the door for him, munch, munch. He just looks. I can't. Why not? I'm busy. Just open the door. It's not that hard. Ugh. Go ahead, Grandpa. Go. Come on, Batman. He leaves the blanket at the top of the stairs. And here is Charlene, his mom, making him some lunch. You can see how much she loves him, how much she's trying to make him smile. I opened the door, but he won't go in. Brandon, you're filthy. Wipe, wipe. Not on the floor. Go outside. There better not be a single speck on the carpet. But go. Take your lunch with you. Come back when you're ready to help. I like that the echoing of the go there, too. Damn it. She's going to be late again. I'll be right up, Dad. Thud. Ah! So Brandon is imagining that probably she's angry about the mess on the floor. And he takes off, and Batman takes off, and he crawls into the boat. Batman crawls under the fence and takes off. Then here comes the ambulance. And here is where the storytelling, it's very subtle, but it's very powerful. And if you pay attention, she watches the ambulance drive away, and then she goes to her car, but she does not get in the car. She goes back in the house. And then you see the blanket tangled at the top of the stairs. And the scene before this, you can see Brandon leaves the blanket right at the top of the stairs. So it kind of makes you wonder, did Grandpa trip over the blanket that Brandon left in the middle of the floor? Did something happen when she was trying to help her dad, or what? It's all just shown in that kind of gray-blue. The only times that the color comes in is usually dream sequences or when there's something that really affects especially Brandon. Brandon seems to get the glimpses of color more than other characters. For example, here he's sleeping. He has a nightmarish dream, and he wakes up and kicks off the very quilt. I I really like how this story is simple enough and minimal enough that it leaves a lot up to your imagination. It's not so much that he doesn't fill it in, it's just he gives you these hints of what might have happened, and you can imagine between the panels. Every panel, every piece of the storyline, every character is very well balanced, it's very well thought out. You really want to take your time, even though it's a little book. There is a lot here. Brandon's taking a nap in the boat, and the birds are flying, and this is the, do you say chaff? I'm not sure. With wheat, it's chaff, but I'm not sure with sugar cane. But anyway, they're scooping up the sugar cane and dropping it into the truck to be hauled away. Charlene tapping away at her computer there in the kitchen. Brandon sneaks in. Tap, tap, tap. Goes upstairs. Looks at the bathroom, looks at the bedroom. No grandpa. And he scrubs his cheesy poof mess off the floor. And then we get our first panel of orange. You know, the blanket was orange and the cheesy poofs were orange. And the stain on him and Batman were orange. But now the fire comes in. And there's another thing about this story that our Kikuo Johnson likes to use the elements of especially fire and water to show the duality of the creation and the destruction that really affect the lives of these people on the island of Maui. So here they're leaving the mortuary after the cremation has been done. She gives the ashes to Brandon. And then, this is just so heartbreaking. You see the urn there with all of the piling up junk mail and old food containers, general clutter. And here's a splash page where the entire house has completely changed. If you look back 4 pages earlier, Charlene, keeps a very clean house for being a single mom. But now, look at the state of things. Brandon takes out his moldy bread and his peanut butter. We're out of peanut butter. Mom, I'll order noodles in a sec. Tap, tap, tap. So you kind of get the feeling like, well, Charlene has been seemingly a pretty good single mom, but now things are really starting to slip, and she's completely neglecting the house. She's completely neglecting Brandon. He takes it upon himself to clean up and clean out all of the junk. She keeps just typing away. Seems to not even notice what he's doing. He washes the dishes. And where do you put the urn with Grandpa's ashes? I might as well hide it under the sink because nobody really wants to acknowledge or think about Grandpa. This is when Brandon notices Batman's food. Ants are carrying the cat food away. And he starts to realize it's been a while since he's seen his cat. Have you seen Batman? No. Tap, tap, tap. He takes out the garbage, gets a flashlight. He starts hunting for Batman. And then he peeks through the wooden fence, the little slat there. And I didn't really know what was going on here at first. I grew up in a little town where there's a lot of wheat fields, and sometimes farmers burn their fields. So I kind of related to that in a sense. But what this is they're burning the sugar cane. I assume the chaff, or after they've harvested the sugar cane. And you can see this huge, the orange flames and the huge plume of black smoke going into the sky, and crucially, all the little ashes raining down as a plane flies over. And the plane probably contains a bunch of tourists who are coming to Hawaii, and all the ashes are raining down on the local population. I mean, it's just basically these 2 pages. And some people said that the environmentalism or the environmental message within this comic was heavy-handed. I didn't really think so. Maybe it's because I saw the Hawaiian Girl years ago giving that presentation, but I mean, this is something that these people live with. And I think that Johnson works that into the story subtly enough that it's just another element of their lives. He's not really making a big statement about it. He's just showing how they live and what they live with, what their environment is like. And also, I love that duality of the fire, cremating the grandfather, and then soon after, Brandon sees the burning sugarcane fields, and that, obviously it's raining down that ash that's probably, killing them. And it's just a really, really powerful image. Then, ding doo, good day, mate. Shit. Sorry, I completely forgot you were coming. I can stay somewhere else if... No, it's fine. We can set you up in the living room. Super busy at work? I quit. Seriously? I'm applying to med school. Hey! Hold on. Cheers. Here's to making moves. Thanks. The hat's for the birthday boy. Is today the 5th? You're kidding me. Just let me say happy birthday to him first, okay? Great parenting, sis. Is Dad chained to a bedpost somewhere? So this is her brother, who has been obviously in Australia. He's a musician. He's, off kind of escaping from his small town life, but he came back for Brandon's birthday. And it's very telling where Charlene's mind is at this point and where her focus is, that she not only is sleeping in front of her computer, but forgot that her brother was coming and forgot her own son's birthday. And in addition to that, she doesn't even tell her brother that their father has died. So he still thinks that, is Dad chained to a bedpost somewhere? I got news for you, bro. And I think I'm going to stop right there. That's enough of a setup. Basically what happens from here on is everyone is forced to deal with this situation of Grandpa has passed away, Dad has passed away. Brandon is more concerned about his cat missing than he is about his grandfather. But Robbie, who's the brother who comes back, Robbie can't believe that Charlene didn't tell anyone. She hasn't told any of her extended family. So Robbie takes it upon himself to start telling the members of the extended family. But during those scenes, we can see that Robbie is very much a black sheep of the family. And there are a lot of reasons why he escaped from Maui, and he's now, touring in Australia and other places, trying to, live out his dream. There are a lot of moments that will kind of tug at your heartstrings. There are little flashbacks later on showing Robbie and Charlene when they were younger with their dad. There's heartbreaking moments between mother and son, between uncle and son, between uncle and his old friends. Going back to my introduction story, when I looked at those houses in Hawaii and I wondered about how people are living and what their lives are like. This is a nice little glimpse into that world with the added layers of how do people deal with grief and deal with death of loved ones. All right, that about does it for No One Else by R. Kikuo Johnson. I hope that you'll check this out. It is a wonderful little story. If you've heard of it and you were thinking about it, or you've never heard of it before, check it out. It's little, it's cheap, it's amazing. And also, let me know, what comics are you reading? Do you like graphic novels like this? Do you like more like superhero comics? Or what books are you reading these days? What are you listening to? Leave me a message. And my little buddy here made it through the whole video without waking up even once. By the way, this is not my cat. This is actually the neighbor's cat. So, from both of us to you, have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.